Hello, and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. In a previous video, I shared some things from Colin Woodard's book called Ocean's End, and I'd like to read you his opening two paragraphs for his chapter called Paradise Lost. The Pacific Ocean is the largest geographical feature on Earth. It covers about a third of the Earth's surface, considerably more than all the continents, islands, lakes, and inland seas combined. Must be thinking of things like Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea. At the equator, it's 10,000 miles wide from the coast of Ecuador to the Asian mainland. The distance from its confluence with the Arctic Ocean to that of the Southern Ocean is more than 8,000 miles. To cross the Pacific, whether by canoe or wide-bodied jet, is to hurtle over a vast abyss punctuated by specks of solid ground, irregular constellations of tiny jewels set in unending celestial blue. One such constellation encompasses the Republic of the Marshall Islands, a young nation in the very center of this vast ocean. There are over 1,100 islands in the Marshall chain, but if you added them all together, you have a parcel no bigger than the District of Columbia. But the Marshalls are not gathered together. They are spread over 750,000 miles of the Central Pacific, thousands of miles from any landmass of consequence. The Marshall Islands are remote, even from each other. So, Kenneth Brower, who I introduced in one of the very earliest videos, who wrote the Spaceship and the Canoe, went to visit three of those jewels and wrote this book called A Song for Stata Whale. And he visits three islands, and there's Yep, Plow, and Stata Whale. And Stata Whale's so small it doesn't show up on this map of the Pacific. But when I looked it up on Google Maps, I saw a picture of it and saw that it was located south of Guam, and so it was right about here in line with the other three. Now, when he writes about these islands, he chooses people, and he makes it a personal account of his experiences. And I got thinking, because of the photograph of this island, it was just sand with trees. It wasn't a long island, it was a photograph at sort of water level, sand and trees. It's very small island, and no rock outcroppings like many islands have. And I thought, that island, along with the Marshall Islands, is endangered as the ocean water's temperature rises, it expands. And as it expands, it creeps up, plus added water from melting glaciers and things are raising sea levels. And I thought the 500 people that live on this island, well, I'm sure there will be responses to rescue people off these islands, but I couldn't help think that the islands themselves might actually vanish. And that got me thinking of vanishing people. One thing leads to another. Vanishing People of the Earth. It's a National Geographic book, and it chooses a number of places around the globe where ways of life have stayed much the same for many, many years, but are changing now. Primitive worlds, people lost in time. Again, people that have lived in little pockets and places and have carried on a traditional way of life. This person chooses to use the same word. This is Timothy Severin. He's been on a number of exploration trips, and this is The Vanishing Primitive Man, put out by Horizon Books. And this man, Colin Pryor, is a photographer, and he went to some of the areas and tried to photograph people, living tribes that still had some of the technology of their way of life. Well, thinking about all that made me think about folk tales and legends that carry on traditions from the past. And so I wanted to just share a few from down under Australia and New Zealand. This is called Tales of Timbarumba, and there are about 4 tales in here. They're something that you could read to a 10-year-old, or a 10-year-old could read on their own. Dreamtime Heritage, Australian Aboriginal myths. These tales also are Aboriginal from Australia. Australian legendary tales. And from New Zealand, Wonder Tales of the Maori Land by A.W. Reid, which reminded me of Nan Chauncey book of a white girl meeting and having companionship with Aboriginal children, and fiction. Well, I guess the legends are fiction too, aren't they? But they are often handed down from generation to generation. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.